Alright guys, this is exactly what I thought would happen with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and it has done the absolute impossible. When it comes to Nintendo franchises, there are various different records that are being broken here, and this game is selling exactly where I thought that it would, but I think you guys might be shocked by some of the numbers here when we actually break it down. But before we get into it, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch, Legend of Zelda, and RPG videos first. Now, what we're doing here is that we're breaking down the Nintendo Switch worldwide sales. Nintendo just posted their quarterly results. So this is the 3 months ending on June 30th, April, May, June. It gets about a month and a half of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sales, and we're seeing some incredible things here. So the Nintendo Switch is at 129.53 million units, and Nintendo sold 3.91 million pieces of hardware during that 3 months that I just talked about. But the big thing here that everyone's going to be discussing is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, along with some of the big first-party sales as well. Now, usually after the first month, 2 months, or 3 months, a lot of games go down in sales. And yes, that is true with a lot of Nintendo's big first-party games, but the hundreds of thousands of units that Nintendo still posts for games that are old at this point, that are 5, 6 years old, is absolutely unheard of. I've never seen anything quite like this, but The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is on an absolute another level because the game already busted in to the top 10 for Nintendo's top sellers of all time. So this, you have to actually sell more than 16 million units to get on this top 10 list. And The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold 18.51 million units in about a month and a half on the market. That is unheard of. It is impossible, especially for a Legend of Zelda game. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold so well, you can combine some of the previous best sellers like Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker all combined, and it doesn't equal what Tears of the Kingdom did in a month and a half from May 12th to June 30th. That is wild, but I do want to tell you guys that I knew this would happen. It's exactly what I felt would happen with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And if you look at it, things haven't been slowing down for the game. Now, yes, from the first initial 3 days, but the game is still at the top of sales charts around the world and even at the top of the eShop charts right there with Pikmin 4. So even with these sales that are tracked right now at 18.51, Tears of the Kingdom could actually be well above 19 million and on its way to 20 million at this point. Now, Nintendo did announce that they sold 10 million copies of Tears of the Kingdom in the first 3 days, so they moved another 8.51 million units in the rest of that time, which is just astronomical for a huge AAA type of game like this. You just don't see that, and it looks like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to cruise to be the best-selling game of the year unless Call of Duty comes out and just does some incredible things. Because remember, these sales are without a holiday. Usually, you look at Nintendo's biggest sellers like Pokemon, for example, that will jump out to these huge sales. Well, that's in November. And if you look at it, Tears of the Kingdom was launched in May. So this is impossible, but it's something that I knew that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom would do. I was actually one of the few, believe it or not. There was a lot of content creators who felt Tears of the Kingdom would not be able to match or outsell The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but it actually sold well more than 50% of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in a month and a half on the market. So it's well on its way to outselling Breath of the Wild, and I'll be honest here, I think it could possibly outsell it by sometime next year. By the end of next year or so, depending on what Nintendo does with their next system, it could absolutely outsell The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is incredibly wild because that game has sold 30 million units. And between The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, that is at nearly 50 million games sold between those two. And if you include the Wii U version, along with the Switch version of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, yeah, 50 million between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. That's pretty much better than all the Zelda games combined almost. That is absolutely insane. These numbers are unlike anything Nintendo has ever experienced before with Legend of Zelda. So the one thing that I hear people say is that, oh, they should go back to how they've done it before with Zelda games. And I see this online quite a bit, and I completely get that. But there's no way they can sit here and look at these sales between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and say, okay, let's go back to the way that Skyward Sword or way that some of these other games played when they're selling this many systems. They're literally lapping all of the other previous Zelda games very quickly, very easily here between Breath of the Wild and between Tears of the Kingdom in the past 6 years or so. These games have not been out for like a decade plus on multiple different systems and acquiring sales via eShop downloadable or whatever, like we've seen with the past Zelda games. This is all on individual systems because the Wii U didn't really add much to it when it comes to Breath of the Wild. So it's all essentially based on the Switch itself, and there's just been nothing like this when it comes to Nintendo hardware. And as we get the rumors that are starting to ramp up with Nintendo's next system and everything, Nintendo's saying, okay, well, yeah, the next system is probably coming, but we still have a lot left in the tank with these sales. Gameplay has proven more so than anything. People talk about graphics, you can talk about this and that, but no other system, despite having an install base or not, even if you look at PS4 or if you look at PC or you look at a lot of these games, no other game in terms of individually can even match what Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom has done on other platforms. And that's just crazy to me considering how much people say about certain things. Now, when it comes to Nintendo Switch Top 10 software, I will go over that as well from bottom to the top. At the bottom here at number 10, Ring Fit got kicked out. So New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at 16.17 million. That game continues to sell incredibly well. 2D Mario, people are getting ready for that Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Don't be surprised if that game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, actually surpasses New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe very quickly. Of course, Tears of the Kingdom is at number 9 with the 18.51 million. Number 8, Super Mario Party at 19.39 million. Number 7, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at 22.66 million. Number 6, Pokemon Sword and Shield at 25.92 million. Number 5, Super Mario Odyssey at 26.44 million. Number 4, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 30.65 million. Number 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 31.77 million. And I have a little bit more to share on that in just a bit. And number 2 is Animal Crossing New Horizons at 42.79 million. That game is going on 43 million units, wild as well. And then, of course, at number 1, it's the Eternal Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 55.46 million. Now, Nintendo has a bunch of software coming up. We know, obviously, Pikmin 4 that launched in July, but then October 6th, you've got Detective Pikachu. October 20th, you have Super Mario Bros. Wonder. November 3rd, you have the new WarioWare Move It game. November, you have Super Mario RPG. And then you have some DLCs that are coming, and that is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in addition to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There's a Princess Peach game next year. There's also a Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon remaster as well. Now, another thing with Super Smash Bros., guys, is that Super Smash Bros. Actually moved another 680,000 copies over the last 3 months or so. It's the best-selling title in the franchise, and it's also the biggest-selling fighting game of all time, individual release. No game has sold more on a singular platform than Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at that 31.77 million, which is, of course, absolutely nuts to think about it overall, what that game is doing. So overall, if you look at it, I think that the big takeaways with this is that, one, the Nintendo Switch is pretty much at 130 million units worldwide. We're absolutely on PS2/DS watch at this point. It's going to be tough, but if you look at the forecast right now, they're looking like they're going to sell right about 140 million or so systems. So you would need about another, I would say, 15 million after that. With price drops and them just continuing to support the ecosystem, I think they can eventually get there down the line. But yes, they're still on track there, and the third best selling system of all time. So very good on that front. Nintendo also mentioned that this is their best sell-through of software ever, and that's mainly due to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, of course, the big takeaway here is also Tears of the Kingdom. So a lot of people felt that Tears of the Kingdom wouldn't really come close or touch Breath of the Wild sales, but I think these people weren't actually tracking what was going on when it comes to the COMG in Japan, when it comes to the Amazon pre-orders, when it comes to the eShop and everything. Just people weren't really tracking it, because I kind of predicted that this was going to be around 18.5 or 18 million to 20 million, somewhere in that range. And I was right around there with my sources in terms of what I was tracking. And it's right on track to really beat out Breath of the Wild. So that is absolutely a huge takeaway, that Nintendo can release a game this massive, this late into the life. You just don't really see anything like that. And it does seem like Nintendo will be able to outsell Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild did put up another million in the last quarter or so, but Tears of the Kingdom's rate of sales is just so much faster. Word of mouth, game of the year. There's price drops that are going on here and there. You can find it for like 60 bucks or less at some places. So Tears of the Kingdom is going to continue to be an incredible seller, and it's going to continue to do really well. I actually even checked Amazon when it comes to the best sellers, and it's still the top seller when it comes to best sellers on Amazon. And then also new releases, it's still the top game as well. It actually jumped right past Pikmin 4. So Tears of the Kingdom is an evergreen, although you can get it for $56.94. So people are going to continue to buy this game. So I love to see it. I love to see that the game is doing incredibly well. I love the new style when it comes to Zelda, and I think that they're going to do some pretty creative things. Obviously, they're making a ton of money, so that money will be invested back into making the next Zelda bigger, badder, and better, and doing different things on the Nintendo Switch too. So very hype along there. So Impossible pulled off once again when it comes to Nintendo Switch. Exactly what I thought could happen when it comes to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm looking forward to it continuing past that 20 million mark within the next number of months. When we get those sales numbers, it's definitely going to be 20 million plus. What do you guys think about all the numbers here? Are there any big takeaways that you guys have from this? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, check out our other Nintendo Switch and Legend of Zelda videos right here on screen. We'll see you for the next one. Peace.